Please, Pasuk Zayin. Pasuk Zayin.
Yeah,
now we're talking about Shlomo, we've just been discussing about a Jewish servant. Jewish servant.
Yes, about the
now,
7 years.
Now we're going to talk about a Jewish maidservant. Okay. Mordechai, Pasuk Zayin. A man sells his bito, his daughter, La'ama, as a maidservant. Lo yisei, she shouldn't go out. Kitsei su'avodim, the way regular servants leave the service, meaning she doesn't wait till 6 years necessarily to leave. Okay? She doesn't. There's other ways she can leave and being a maidservant. Okay? And that's what the person the psukim are now going to explain. Okay? Let's see Rashi here. Hakosov Medaber. The process is talking about a ketana. Right? A child, a minor. Right. Yochel, I might think, afilu hivia simonim. Carry on, you can continue. Afilu hivia simonim, even if she's brought signs of puberty, meaning even if she has still, meaning if she's 12 years old and over, she can also be sold as a maidservant. Okay? No. Amart kal v'chomer. And that, I respond to you, right, you would say a kal v'chomer. If already when she was sold, when she's still a minor, before she had signs of puberty, right? Then yotza b'simonim. Right? Then she goes out with simonim, meaning when she gets those signs of puberty, that's automatically a reason for her now to be no longer to be a maidservant. As soon as she gets the simonim, she's old enough, she's mature. No longer, that the Torah says, Yotzachinam ein kosev, as Rashi is going to explain. Torah indicates there, when she reaches a certain stage of age, of development, then the Torah tells us, no longer does she remain to be a servant, maidservant. So if already, when she was a maidservant, when she reaches that age, let's call it 12 years old, okay, it's really dependent on actually getting signs of puberty. But let's say most girls have, at the age of 12, have those signs of puberty. If, when she reaches the age of 12, she goes out free, if she was a maidservant before, and now when she reaches the age of 12, she goes out free, then certainly if she's over the age of 12, when she has those simanim, for sure she can't be sold. Because that's the kal v'chomer.
So is it, if she's 12, or she shows the signs of puberty?
No, it's really the signs of puberty. That's really what is the...
So if it's before 12 and she shows it,
then she goes out.
Then she goes. But if she reaches 12 and she hasn't shown it yet, does she still go out?
So that's a discussion. The Torah... What? No, 1 second. She's only Na'ara once she gets the original signs of puberty, which are 2 pubic hairs.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, so it doesn't matter if she's 12 or not. She doesn't...
No, but most of them... The Gemara says that generally, in Moshe, even for a boy as well, what's the idea of bar mitzvah? At the age of 13. Okay, it's also because that's, we assume that a boy is 13, he has those 2 pubic hairs. Right. But the Gemara said, if the Moshe, as far as dinim d'oraisa concerned, Torah stated laws, we do not rely on the fact that what we call a chazaka, in an assumption that he has those pubic hairs. In other words, we assume that when he reaches the age of 13, he probably does have those 2 pubic hairs. Right? But if we don't know, we only rely on that assumption with as far as dinim of drabanan are concerned, rabbinic laws are concerned. Right. As far as Torah laws are concerned, we don't rely on that thing, and therefore we have to actually have positive evidence that he has 2 hairs. So similarly for a girl as well, as far as for 12 years old as well. As far as this halacha is concerned, it would also be that she would not be able.
Right.
She'd go through Misophic, I guess, when she reaches the age of 12. Okay, but anyway, let's go back to the Rashi. So anyway, it's a kal v'chayin. Ma mocharum kaydim lochein. If already when this girl has been sold as a maidservant and she is a maidservant, yotze b'simonim, she goes out from being a maidservant when she gets these signs of puberty. Meshachasur, as the pasuk says here in this parasha, later. But yotza chinom ein kosef. She goes out for free without any money, without any payment. So we expound the meaning of that pasuk to be the simone narus, for the simonim of narus, which means, as we say, it's signs of puberty. She'ena machura, a girl who hasn't yet been sold, for sure she won't go into service after she's reached that stage. Eina din shelo timacha, for sure she can't be sold as a maidservant. Whereas if already somebody who was a maidservant, once she reaches that stage of maturity, she can no longer remain as a maidservant, then for sure, if she has already reached that stage and she hasn't been sold, then for sure she's not going to be able to come into the state of being a maidservant. Okay, that's the Kavachay. Let's see the next Rashi. Lo seitze, so avodi. Right, she shouldn't go out like servants go out, male servants. Now, what does that mean? What do you see? Do you have the Rashi there? Lo seitze, so avodi.
Kitzeitz avodim
Kananim, right? Like the way avodim Kananim go out of service, which is sheyotzim
Moshen
the b'shen v'ayin. Okay, they go out with a tooth and an eye. Now, what does that mean? We're going to see later on in the parasha over here. Where is it? Yeah. Pasuk 26, Pasuk Chav Vav. We turn over to page Kuf Zayin. You have it? Pasuk Chav Vav. V'chiyake ish es ein avdoi, es ein amosei v'shichaso, lachavshi yishalchenu tachas einoi. V'shein avdoi v'shein amosei yapil, lachavshi yishalchenu tachas shi. There's a halacha that if a man, the master, hits his evet and either knocks out his eye or knocks out his tooth, that is enough of a just reason that he has to release him. He's no longer. He's got to give him his freedom now. You can't keep him as an evet. Okay? And that applies both to a manservant and a maidservant as well, meaning a shifra kananis. Okay? So therefore here we say that a Jewish maidservant, as Rashi is going to explain, this also applies to a Jewish manservant as well. But a Jewish maidservant, does not leave service if her master knocks out her tooth or knocks out her eye. Unlike a Canaanite servant or maidservant. Okay, so that's what Rashi says over here.
She goes out on a scheduled time and then
right. Because she has different things. The basic difference is because we mentioned this yesterday. An Eved Kanani, or Shifra Kananis, a Canaanite servant, is actually the property, the monetary property of his owner. Whereas a Jewish servant, a Jewish maidservant, is not the monetary property of the owner. Right? The owner has rights to use him for work. But it's like more like a glorified hired worker. It's more than that. He has some sort of acquisition. Yes, he does acquire him to a certain extent, but it's not his property. They can do with him what he likes. So therefore, similarly, the rules how this servant is acquired and how a Jewish servant is released are different from that of the Canaanite servant. Okay, so let's, So he's saying that this Jewish maidservant doesn't go out like Canaanite servants do. And as Rashi explains, means that Canaanite servant, if the master knocks out his tooth and knocks out his eye, then he goes out for free. Right? But, he goes out free. But, a Jewish maidservant, aber zu, lo teitze b'shem v'ayim. She's not going to go out if her master knocks out her tooth or an eye. Elo, what? Carry on. You have the fourth line. Ovedes, you have it. Ovedes sheish, or ad hayobel.
Ovedes sheish, or ad hayobel.
Right. She continues to work either for 6 years, or till the Yobel, or
Ad shetovi simonim.
or she produces signs of puberty. Okay, but kola koidem lacherusa. Whichever happens first is the first. She will go out free. Well, she'll go out free. Whichever reason, whichever cause for her freedom happens first. Right. So what about he knocked out her eye, knocked out her tooth? And he's got to pay her like a regular person. If one Jew strikes another Jew and knocks out his tooth and knocks out his eye, he's got to pay him proper compensation, which is a 5-part compensation plan, right? There's five things he's got to pay for: nezek, tsar, ripui, sheves, and boshes. I hope we're going to get to it now because in the parsha afterward, where is it? Pasuk Yud Ches, Yud Tes discuss this. Okay, when one person strikes another person. Okay, but when one Jew hits another Jew and causes him damage, he's got to pay him compensation in 5 aspects. Nezek, the actual damage. If he caused him permanent damage, he's got to compensate him for that permanent damage, which is evaluated as, let's say he incapacitates his arm.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we evaluate this person, how much he would be worth as a servant, to be sold as a servant, as a worker, with an arm, and how much is he worth without an arm, and that difference he's got to pay. That's nezek. Tsar is he's got to pay for him for the pain, which means he caused him a certain amount of damage, and he did it in a painful way.
Right.
So now you've got to estimate how much a person,
Pain and suffering.
right, would, if he needed to have this, let's say his arm needed to be, whatever reason, his arm had to be paralyzed, right? And instead of, it could either be done in a painful way or done in a non-painful way.
Medical damage, is it?
Whatever. So then he has to pay him whatever the difference a person would pay, would be willing to pay in order to have it done in the non-painful way. Okay, that's the thing. That's tsar. Ripui is the actual doctor's fees, whatever he
Physio.
whatever medical fees he has to pay for in order to get properly healed. Sheves is unemployment as a result of the being damaged. He was put out of employment. Okay.
Could be disfigurement as well.
Well, that's boishes. That's what we
is it?
said the last thing. The 5th thing
It's
is
embarrassment.
boishes. It means embarrassment. Embarrassment. That if he now becomes disfigured, he looks ugly, right? And people say it caused him embarrassment, then he's got to compensate him for that as well. So
How do you
those are
pay
the
for
5
embarrassment?
things. Huh?
How do you pay for embarrassment?
So the Gemara says whatever how you evaluate it. Okay? All these halachas about that, these 5 things is in the 8th parak of Bava Kama. Okay. Right. But so as you say, so a Jewish maidservant, and who I didn't realize when you say Jewish servant, if the master damages them, the master's got to pay. He's got to pay them as if he damaged, just like any other Jew. He's got to pay them the full 5 things, but they don't go out free as a result of the damage. Unlike another Kanani, if the master damages him, he knocks out his tooth and knocks out his eye, then he's got to let him free. He's got to release him in compensation for having knocked out his eye and knocked out his tooth. The Gemara says actually that besides a tooth and an eye, this applies to to 24 Rosh Hashanah, which means the person has limbs, 24 limbs or organs a person has in his body which have, should we say, jut out somewhat. Okay, what are they? 2 ears, nose, okay?
2 ears, nose, and your arms, your legs.
Right, so 1 second. 10 fingers,
Oh,
10 toes, 20,
right.
3, and the male organ, that's 24.
Okay, so 10, 20,
2 ears,
22.
nose, 23, and the male organ is 24. It's 24 Rosh Hashanah.
What's called Rosh Hashanah, I mean,
Rosh Hashanah means tips of the limbs, let's call it. Okay? Let's continue over here.
Downstairs? You do downstairs?
Yeah. Oh, Eino.
What did I do downstairs?
24, 25.
Oh, Eino. Oh, so now Rashi says, oh, Eino. Maybe that's not pshat over here. Eloloi teitze ketzeisa avodim. She shouldn't go out like other avodim go out, meaning, take it simply, nothing to do with avodim kanani. We say a Jewish maid servant does not leave after 6 years service as would a Jewish manservant does. Talmud Loimer, the Torah tells us about this, they can't be that. Why? Because it says, Ki mochelacha achicha ha'ivri oy ha'ivriya. Not here, but later on in Parshas Re'eh, in Sefer Dvarim, where the Torah repeats many halachas. So there, these halachas are repeated there, and it says, if your brother, the Hebrew or the she, I guess we call it, Jew, yeah, your brother, the Jew or the Jewess, okay, is sold to you. Okay, so what's the din? So that they have similar dinim, both the Jewish man and the Jewish woman. Makish ivri ale ivri. He compared the Jewish woman to a Jewish man. Lakol yitziosav, regarding all forms where he goes out free. Ma ivri yotze b'sheish, just like a Jewish man, if he sold as a servant, he goes out after 6 years service. Uba yovel, and also if the Jubilee year comes first. Af ivriya, so to a Jewish maidservant, Yotze b'sheish, she goes out after 6 years service, or if it comes earlier, by Yovel, if Yovel comes first, then she goes out with Yovel. Okay? Umahu lo seitze ketzeisa avodim. If that's the case, what does it mean? She doesn't go out like servants go out. Like we said before, lo teitze b'roshei varim. She doesn't go out with losing the tips of the limbs, ka'avodim kanani. Okay? Like avodim kanani do. This Jewish maidservant doesn't. It means she doesn't, if the master knocks out her tooth or knocks out her eye, she doesn't go out for it. So here we're discussing a Jewish maidservant. What about a Jewish manservant? That whatever applies to a Jewish maidservant applies to the Jewish manservant as well. Makish ivri le'ivriya. Compare the Jewish manservant to the Jewish maidservant. Ma ivriya eni yotze b'rosh varim, just like a Jewish maidservant doesn't go out with rosh varim, meaning the tips of the limbs. If the master knocks out, damages the tooth or the eye or any other one of the 24 tips of the limbs. Afhu, similarly, a Jewish manservant has the same din. Eni yotze b'rosh varim. By the way, I forgot to mention, the Gemara does say, for a man it's 24, and for a woman it's 25, right? Because she doesn't have the organ.
Good point.
But she has the 2 breasts. Okay? Yeah. Okay, Sromer, are you up to reading Pasuk Ches?
Yes. In Ra be'enei Arneya. He's found bad in the eyes
Of her master.
master.
Asheloi Ya'odah. Now, this is a Greek set. It's written as if he did not designator, but if you look in the thing, it's loy with a vav. Okay, loy with a vav means he designated her for himself. Vehefta, and then he redeemed her, caused her to be redeemed.
I'm Nafshi.
Right, to a strange, shall we say, foreign nation. Lo yimshol lemachra, he mustn't act with authority over her to sell her. Bevigdova, when he forsakes her. Especially with God means to be a traitor and acts treacherously towards her. Okay? So let's see Rashi. This is actually a very, the language in this passage is very, not esoteric is the right word. Maybe it is esoteric. It means it's one has to know, add a lot of explanation to the words of the passage to understand its proper meaning. Okay, let's see Rashi. Imra be'enei Adoneha.
She's found bad in eyes of her master.
Right? Sheloi nasa chen be'einav lekansa. Right? He doesn't like her. Nasa chen be'einav. She didn't find grace, favor in his eyes. But he wants to lekansa. He wants to fully marry her, that she become his wife. Now the reason why Rashi points this out is in ra'a be'enei Adoneha sounds if she's bad. Okay, now the Gemara in the end of Gittin has a discussion. Where is the discussion? You got finished he said a man can divorce his wife. Actually, it doesn't actually say raw. It says ki yikach isha ba'ala v'yoyim lo yisim tzochem be'inav. He doesn't find favor in his eyes. Ki motza be'er bastova. He found a matter of immorality among her, about her. Okay? So now the Gemara has a discussion. When is a man allowed to have grounds to divorce his wife? So one opinion says, no, dafki if she's acted immorally, or he suspects her being immoral. But otherwise, even if she's not a good wife, she doesn't do the laundry, she doesn't do the cooking and anything like that, he can't divorce her.
Are they conjugal rights?
So yes, one second.
So is that the probably the second day, right?
That was the other opinion is, no, it's up to the man. He says even if she burnt the cholent, right?
Yeah, then you can put away.
Right, he says, you're no good. That's another opinion. So what the point is, there's always the meaning of the word raw, bad. It often means, raw means bad in the Torah sense, which means somebody who's evil, somebody who's done something wrong.
Good.
So Rashi's pointing out over here, it doesn't mean she's done something wrong. And raw doesn't mean, right, she hasn't done it. But she's bad in the eyes of her master. He doesn't like her. Okay? Now he's not divorcing her actually, because he had never really married her yet. Okay, but that's what he says. He didn't find favor in his eyes.
This is the servant.
Right, this maidservant, this young maidservant girl, she is Jewish.
Oh, she is Jewish. Okay. Oh.
Right? She is Jewish. This young maidservant girl, she's Jewish.
So what's this rule about, and you can't give her to a nokri?
Okay, well, that we're going to see. We're going to explain that. Okay?
Well,
but that nokri doesn't mean nokri in this sense. That's why, as I mentioned before, the language of the Apostolic is very esoteric. It means to another man.
Oh, I see.
Nocher means in this age a stranger.
Right. Now, if she can't have children, which, possibly, or she only has girls, or whatever.
Whatever. First of all, we're talking about
saying.
she hasn't had children yet because she hasn't reached the age of puberty yet.
Oh, okay. Right, because she's a servant.
Right, she's a servant, she's a little girl.
Right. So we can't put her in. Okay.
Okay?
Doesn't he have to let her go immediately? Or have to...
No, we're going to see about this. We're going to see. Okay? But the first point is what we may saying over here. If she's, Rashi's explaining, if she's bad in the eyes of her master, it means it doesn't mean she's actually bad, evil, but it means he doesn't like her.
Right.
She's not, she's ugly in the eyes of her, let's call it. She's ugly in the eyes of her master. Okay, he doesn't like her, she doesn't find favor in his eyes, that he wants to marry her properly. Next Rashi. Tsama, Asher lo ya'ada.
Shelo Yado, she didn't.
Right, now, this lo ya'ada, it's written loy, he did not, but it's read, pronounced loy with a vav. She was designated for him. So that's what Rashi explains. Really, in the sense of with a vav, not with an aleph.
Why is it Aleph there then?
Sorry?
Why is it an Aleph?
Because that's where it's written. We'll see. Because the Maisa, he should have, but he didn't. Shahoya loy leyada, or lachnisa loy leisha. He should have, meaning the ideal situation would be that this person who buys this Jewish little girl as a maidservant, the ideal situation is that subsequently, after she has been his maidservant sometime, he will marry her.
Right.
Okay?
She doesn't have a choice.
No, because she's under her father's jurisdiction. The father technically has a choice. But we say over here, that's one of the concepts over here, is when the father sells his young daughter as a maidservant, he's automatically giving permission to the master, right, giving rights to the master. If he decides he wants to marry her, he can marry her without any further discussion with the father. Whereas this is like the father's already given implicit permission for the master to marry her when he wants to. That's what's called yield over here. She's already been designated, when he sells her as a maidservant, she's already been designated to be a wife for this master.
Right.
Okay?
So he feels the master's a good enough person when he sells her.
Right.
I mean,
Okay? We'll have to stop here, and Reza Hashem will carry on tomorrow.